Grand Rapids Rise, fully equipped with a new look, and 2 new All-Stars are now rounding into form. Tonight, the Rise welcome a foe they've yet to host in Grand Rapids. One of the league's best teams is in town. From Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it's the Grand Rapids Rise and the Dallas Pulse. It's Major League Volleyball right here on YouTube. And with that, we say good evening, everybody. Hi, Dan Hasty, that's Katie Olson. And KO, Rise made a big move a couple of weeks ago, and now winners of 3 of their last 5. It's starting to pay off.
You saw this come, and it headed with defense. They really just pulled it together, bringing in, Morgan Hensville has really affected their winning streak right now. They're able to play longer rallies, and then Cam Turner, bringing her in as a setter. She's been a little more efficient in the offense, which is leading to those wins.
So the Rise finding a little bit more success with that particular combination. The Pulse have been successful with just about any combination.
Oh my goodness, they are pin heavy, and they are great at that. Both outsides are just insane. They're getting almost a kill 50% of the time when you're throwing that ball up there with Natalia Valentin Anderson. She runs one of the best offenses in this league. They got the #1 overall rookie, Mimi Collier, on the outside pin. Honestly, every time she puts it up, it's so fun to watch the Dallas Pulse and how they are able to just put balls away, and really, it's great to watch them come into this league and have so much success.
It has to make life as a setter pretty easy when you have 2 of the statistically top outsides in the entire league.
Oh, it'd be great just knowing that you can throw up an out-of-system ball and they're going to get a kill 50% of the time. That would be amazing.
So now, on the other side, Grand Rapids has now had 2 All-Stars named, so congratulations to both of them. Paige Briggs-Romine and Morgan Hens are now headed to Orlando a little over a week from now. And obviously, we've gotten a chance to watch Paige Briggs-Romine grow up. We couldn't be happier for her.
She has came out of her shell this season. Last year, you saw a little bit of it. She was kind of a utility player there. And then this year, she is turning into that go-to outside player. Her defense is incredible. And then you put her in the front row, and she just has a tool belt where she can hit any shot that she wants.
It kind of seems like over the course of this season, and we noticed this back in year 1, Kathy George is starting to assemble this group that is kind of strong and well-rounded when you look at everyone on the starting lineup.
So she starts off her team with being a strong blocking presence, and then you saw that in the first year, went down in the second year, and then this year you're seeing the defense in the backcourt really come alive, which I think is super impressive, as some of those middle blockers this season have been out due to injury. So they're really, the back row is stepping up to make it still a defensive heavy team.
Let's go ahead and take a look at First Serve, presented by Morning Bell, one of the great breakfast places in all of the west side of the state of Michigan. Keys to this one for the Rise tonight.
Stop that back row attack. Valentin Anderson runs a quick offense to that back row, and that's what happened in the last game that they played against Dallas. They were unstoppable from that back row attack, so being able to really limit that and limit the points given by Mimi Collier.
Now, Kathy George has seen her team start to come together over the course of the last 5 matches or so. What has it been about having Morgan Hens, but also Cam Turner, start to really turn things around? No pun intended.
So both of them are extremely defensive-minded. Morgan Hens as the libero, and then Cam Turner, who has such a defensive mindset as a setter. It just really plays into that, and Cam Turner has such a high volleyball IQ that she's able to really mix up her sets, running that offense efficiently.
Meanwhile, you've got Dallas, who's done a lot of things well. We were talking before this broadcast, and having the strong outside hitters. And the other side, you'd have to imagine that that's going to really put the onus on the middle blockers for the Rise. One of them is Berkeley Oblad, who we really haven't seen here a whole lot.
We didn't see her a ton, but coming out in this last game, she did a fantastic job. And really her ability to move pin to pin is going to be super important tonight, with as much as they do set those pins.
We'll take a look at the starting lineup, because we are just about ready for volleyball here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. For Grand Rapids, we mentioned Cam Turner. Morgan Hens is in that starting lineup. No surprise there. Paige Briggs-Romine, who is one of the All-Stars alongside Morgan Hens. Carly Snyder, Berkeley Oblad, Elizabeth Inna, and Alyssa Jensen, the former Michigan State Spartan. And on the other side, Dallas, they'll shape things up like so. We'll get a chance to see what the Dallas Pulse can do. And we do know that Natalia Valentine Anderson will be a big part of that conversation. Kaylee Cox, along with Tristan Savage. Some other helpers, Sofia Maldonado Diaz. She's one of the top outsides in the entire Major League Volleyball circuit. Kylie Murr is the libero. And it looks like we are just about ready to get things rolling. Our first referee is Michelle Prater. Our second is Barb Zivonic. Our referee is our host and our studio technician back in our studios in downtown Grand Rapids. That's Charles Keegan. We are so excited to have you along. It's Dallas, it's Grand Rapids. It's a collision course between two teams that are playing some really good volleyball. Good crowd on hand for this one here tonight. They continue to file in over the course of the last 30 minutes or so. This will probably end up as one of the higher attended games of the season for the Grand Rapids Rise.
Speaking of that, the Omaha Supernovas just hit the record in the U.S. for volleyball. That was just impressive. They had a sold-out crowd with, I believe, almost 17,000 attendees.
You know, and I guess we can't be surprised that it happens in Omaha, because Omaha has had some of the big numbers in that way throughout the course of their 3 years. Now, this game will start with who else? Carly Snyder, who gets a chance, as you got to look at the Dallas head coach, that's Shannon Windsor. As Morgan Hentz lays out on the very first attempt. Carly Snyder sends it to the other side. We are underway here in Grand Rapids, as that was just out of the reach of Morgan Hentz. First point goes to Dallas. I was talking to Cameron Turner about setting your middles earlier today, and one of the things I immediately thought about was it's probably going to happen a little bit more on the Grand Rapids side here today, considering how strong the outsides are on the Dallas end. There's Elizabeth Enna. She slams one and hits the line. We're tied at 1.
I'm excited to have Enna back in that starting lineup. She was out due to injury for a little bit of this season, and she's just now making her comeback.
Alyssa Jensen serves. Didn't exactly put it where they wanted to. Chance for Maldonado Diaz, and it's on the other side. Quick swing and a point. Berkeley Oblad almost was out of her reach, but I think it actually helped throw the other side off a bit, and it's 2-1.
You know, sometimes those mishits are the best attacks.
Just like they drew it up. Now if Dallas gets another chance and a point. This time they do set their middle, and Lane Van Buskirk, another one of those all-stars we talked about. This time for the Dallas Pulse, ties it at 2.
She's really been great this year. She's second in kill percentage, and she's above 50%.
There are 4 all-stars on the Dallas side. The serve comes over from Kaylee Cox, and into the middle it goes. That's down for a point. Nice little play from the outside, and that little change-up ball has worked for the Rise throughout the course of this little surge they've had, winning 3 of their last 5. We mentioned Valentine Anderson, Maldonado Diaz, Celia Colon, as well as Lane Van Buskirk, all out there on the floor right now. We'll talk about the All-Stars more in just a moment. Quick look at the back. This one was kept alive as Maldonado Diaz gets it and puts it down with a big right hand.
Maldonado Diaz just has such a quick arm swing. She's able to really beat that seam of the block.
Maldonado Diaz to serve. This Grand Rapids team was able to get another point thanks to Elizabeth Enna. You know, they were kind of without her. It seemed like Grand Rapids was a little bit lost. They were using different players and different parts, kind of filling in the gap where she was not. And you can tell just how much of a stabilizing force she is now that they have her back. Service error evens us at 4. They had tried to mix and match a little bit. They had Candela Alonso Corseas. They used Alexis Shelton, the first-round pick. There's a nice play to keep it alive, and a swing kept alive on a dive. Morgan Hentz can't get it over, and that's one too many. But overall, what we've seen is this Dallas team have all kinds of success with different players, and you'd have to imagine it's going about as well as you could imagine if you're on the Dallas end of the coin. Into the net goes Grand Rapids, make it 6-4. Over the 10-foot line, rather. Make it a 6-4 Dallas lead.
So when you're doing that back row attack, if a player from the back row is attacking the ball, they are not allowed to step on that 3-meter or 10-foot line at all.
And I think they're still trying to work out a little bit with the technology here at Van Andel. There's a look at our first referee. That's Michelle Prater. Want to make sure that they have the ability to go look at everything they need to look at out in their command center. There's another point for Grand Rapids. Makes it back to a 1-point set. You know, we were talking about Celia Colin. She actually has a whole lot of ties here to the state of Michigan. Collier got that one sent back, and the Pulse will have to reset. Other chance, another block. But they're not able to get it down. Collier swings, and it is too long, and we're tied at 6. But the native of Brighton, Michigan, finished her college career at SMU. But you got a chance to get a long look at her, didn't you?
Yep, I was at Michigan State with her and Kathy George.
So she is familiar to many people on this Grand Rapids Rise side. Other chance, Maldonado swings and scores, gives Dallas the lead.
The Rise are getting a lot of touches on these back row attacks. If they just pressed in to the middle of the court just a little bit more, they would have had her there.
Look at Valentine Anderson, almost ran out of time. I think they were a little confused as to who should serve. And that might put the Pulse in a tough spot. You wouldn't know it by what they did with it. Point for Tristan Savage and the Pulse. What in the world just happened there?
Well, when you're standing at 6'7", making a power tip go down is pretty dang easy for Savage.
I think we're in a safe space now. We can all say 6'7" again. That makes it a 2-point lead for the Pulse. Inna swings, got it blocked. Inna went down awkwardly, and she seems to be okay. But it's a 3-point lead for the Pulse. It's one thing I think people like watching about Elizabeth Inna. As you look at Valentine Anderson to serve, Inna, when she gets the ball in the right spot, can really lower a powerful shot. Speaking of which, there's Paige Briggs-Romine for the point.
Point Rise. Cam Turner now serving.
That'll send it over to Cam Turner. Got a chance to catch up with her during intermission last time we were here. We'll catch up with her on the radio side with a full-length conversation. Valentine Anderson playing it from behind, and a diving play to keep it going. Nice work by Kylie Murr. Carly Snyder to swing. That's down for a point. Carly Snyder. She was an all-star last year. Could certainly be one once again down the road. Back to a 1-point set. We'll try Collier again. Good play by Snyder. Put it in a great spot. Turner for PBR. Didn't get a good look at where she had it ended up. It was dug out. Turner, Jensen will send it back. Back in the middle, almost a collision, but everybody's okay. Elizabeth Inna swings, and it is too strong. That's a point for Dallas.
Put your hands together.
So on the year, Dallas comes in 12-5. They actually are the owners of the most 3-set sweeps in all of Major League Volleyball. They've done that 6 times this year. Nobody's done it more. There's Alyssa Jensen, slams it through. That one rattled the net. Little Sparty party, nearly took the net off of its holdings. Katie was talking about the attendance in Omaha the other night. 2 weeks ago, Major League Volleyball surpassed the 1 million mark. As Dallas takes another point. league has averaged nearly 4,000 fans, and it's now going on 300 matches here in year 3. And moreover, these matches have been awfully close. It's one of the things we've actually known about Grand Rapids over the course of this season, and I think that's, to know volleyball is to understand, as that one's a service there, goes out of bounds, Katie Olsen, is that these matches usually come down to 1 or 2 points at the end.
Very rarely do you see just an absolute blowout match where you're winning by 10 or 15 points. That keeps the crowd really into the game.
There's an ace. Alyssa Jensen hits the edge of the line. Look how close it was.
That ball just dropped at the end.
Put it right on the white. They tried to let it go, but it ties us up at 11 for now. Now the point goes right back to Dallas. But of the matches, there have been 67 of them this year. 111 sets out of 265. So that's about 40%, actually over 40%, have been 3 points or less. So they have been awfully close. Block for Maldonado. Diaz gets the point for Dallas, and they got 2 in a row now out of Dallas. Kaylee Cox to serve for the Pulse. Turner for PBR. Not there. What a big year it's been for Paige Briggs-Romine. We've seen her as the MLV Player of the Week. She's one of 2 members of the Rise to take home that distinction. The other, Morgan Henson. Those happen to be the 2 All-Stars. There's PBR right on cue. Point GR, it's back to a 1-point set. These players actually, and I think volleyball in and of itself, and you certainly have seen this before, Katie, is that everybody seemingly knows everybody. Oh, Morgan Hens dives to lay out and make the play. Can it lead to a point? Not yet, because Kylie Murr goes horizontal as well, and Dallas is able to finish the job. Back to a 2-point lead. Everybody sort of knows everybody. A lot of these players, Natalia Valentine-Anderson, Kelsey Payne, Caitlin Horde, Kendall White, and on the Rise side, Paige Briggs-Romine, Camila Gomez, and Allison Mayfield have all at one point or another been Omaha Supernovas. Good play from Hens to lay out. Can Paige Briggs-Romine cash in? Yes, she can.
What are they feeding Paige Briggs-Romine? Because she is absolutely on fire. You watch as she's able to get through that seam and plant it into the middle of the court.
Somebody told her she's an all-star. Other chance. Morgan Hens keeps it alive somehow at the net. Snyder swings. Actually got a really good look considering they were out of system. Other side, Oblad can't get the block down. And there's a point for Kaylee Cox in the Pulse. Oblad got a lot more of an opportunity the last time the Rise took the floor. And credit to Grand Rapids, they've actually had some success against the Atlanta Vibe this year. They put it in the middle. It's kept alive for now. Might have to be a free ball back. See if Grand Rapids can do something with it. Slide play. Oblad too strong. Point goes to Dallas. And that puts it at 16. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back. But it's a 3-point Dallas lead. You've got Major League Volleyball. You've got the Rise and the Pulse right here on YouTube.
Selected to play in the 2026 Advent Health Major League Volleyball All-Star Match in Orlando. The MLV All-Star Match is Saturday, March 28th at noon, live on CBS and Paramount Plus. Fans, let's make some noise for our 2026 MLV All-Stars, Morgan Hens and Paige Briggs-Romine.
back here in Grand Rapids. So far, we are seeing a tightly played match. We've seen two teams off to decent starts. Dallas has had a lot of success throughout the course of this season. Then you've got Grand Rapids, who's actually found themselves with a little bit more success as of late. We'll see if they can keep that up, and so far, they can. Carly Snyder gets a big point. But all things considered, you know, when you're playing against a team that is a buzzsaw the way that Dallas has been this year, you just try to keep your head above water in those, especially in the early parts of matches like this. Little setter dump and a great play to get it down. Valentine Anderson scores. Boy, life is good when you're Natalia Valentine Anderson with some of the outsides that they have between Maldonado Diaz and Mimi Collier. Statistically, they are two of the absolute best in the league. They came into this one with the best hitting percentage in all of Major League Volleyball at nearly 28%. They score again there. That puts them up with their largest lead. And probably one of the biggest differences between these two teams. Dallas is first in hitting percentage. The Rise have been better lately, but they come into tonight's ranked 6th. And sent it right back. Not where they wanted it, but it's kept alive by a lunging Turner. They live to see another moment. Collier swings. Paige Briggs Romine. Great play. Turner got it blocked. They'll work again. That's Carly Snyder to tap. Fun little rally, unconventional as Inna swings and it's popped up. We'll keep it going. Dallas's turn. Long rally and a huge fight for a very important point. Goes to the Rise. Carly Snyder makes it a 3-point deficit for GR.
You know, I talked to Kathy George at the beginning of the year, and I remember her saying that she wanted to really focus in on out-of-system swings. And you're seeing tonight that they have been putting in that work.
Sometimes you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's what out-of-system success usually looks like. Right back to Grand Rapids. Let's see if they can slice into this deficit. Snyder swings. Great play, Kylie Murr. She lays out. It's kept alive. Turner wants Carly again, and it's kept alive by Dallas. Like Grand Rapids really showing a lot of strength defensively here early on against a really good hitting team. Collier taps, diving play once again. That was Turner. Well, we're getting another long fight for a very important point, and Collier gets it for Dallas. That would have been a big one if Grand Rapids could have gotten it to get it down to 2.
It would be. You're watching two of the best defensive teams setter-wise and libero-wise. You're putting that back there. That's why you're seeing these long, long rallies.
Back over to Mimi Collier, former Wisconsin Badger. You were really singing her praises before the broadcast today, as Alyssa Jensen got that one saved by Murr. Maldonado Diaz, and it goes back to Dallas. I'm curious what you've noticed about Collier's game as she gets another point to put Dallas up by 5. What do you like about Mimi Collier?
I've been watching her forever. She was absolutely fantastic when she started her freshman year at Oregon. She was a 2-time All-American. Then for her senior year, she went over to Wisconsin, and that's really where I saw her game develop just insanely by Kelly Sheffield. He was able to really run that quick offense with her, and you see tonight, she has such power behind her balls.
It's a timeout for Grand Rapids. We'll keep it right here. It's only a 30-second timeout. But, you know, you see these players kind of evolve over the course of time. But one of the things I've also noticed is that a handful of these players, you sort of learn their names early on. And unlike in other sports, you get to know them really well on their college teams.
You do. That's how I found out about Mimi Collier. She brought Oregon's name up, and she was just their whole team and the reason why they advanced so far in the tournament. And then you watch her go to a Big Ten school, you know, living in Michigan, you kind of watch the Big Ten more. And she did so well. There were a lot of eyes on Wisconsin this year, and she just led that team to the Final Four.
Was there any question that she'd be the #1 overall pick in the draft?
No.
She's that good. and she's had a phenomenal first season. Paige Briggs-Romine got it sent back. They'll try again. It's a 5-point Dallas lead. Kylie Murr's been busy so far as Dallas swings and gets the point from the far side thanks to Kaylee Cox.
She adds her 4th kill of the night, hitting over 500. She's one of those players that they've been switching in and out on that right side or opposite pin with Kelsey Payne. And Cox is really stepping up to the plate in the last couple of matches.
Try PBR, and that one was too easy. Tristan Savage in the middle. And now it's an officially a Dallas Pulse run.
Just when you think you can roll over her, she stays in the air way longer than you expect.
12-4 surge for the Dallas side. Turner for PBR, got it through the wickets to that Pulse defense. If a rally's gonna start, it has to start right about now. That's why Carly Snyder's important to have at the service line. We were talking about how many players had played at one point or another for the Omaha Supernovas. There's also another team's presence, or at least a former team's presence. That's the Vegas Thrill. The play by Hentz to keep it going. Right back it comes, and they didn't get as much on it as they wanted. But a lot of these players played for Vegas once upon a time when they were part of the Major League Volleyball. Swinging a score for Dallas, makes it a 7-point lead. Lane Van Buskirk, Kendall White, Allison Mayfield, Lauren Jardine Clark, and Berkeley Oblad. All members of the Thrill. And then you have Kylie Murr, who also played a season in Vegas. It's one of the cool things about this league is that you get a chance to see some of the great cities around the nation. It's also why we've been campaigning to go on the road more often. There's an ace for Dallas. We've got set point here in the first.
What location do you want to go to the most?
You know, I will say this, you know, learning about the Comerica Center out in Frisco, Texas, I mean, that is one of the great facilities in all of Major League Volleyball. They did a great job to get that as their spot to play their games as Candela Alonso Corseas comes off the bench, trying to give it a different lift and look to this Rise squad, gets the point.
Camila Gomez checks in now, sir.
Camila Gomez in as a serve sub. But the Comerica Center is home to the Dallas Stars, the Texas Legends. That's the NBA G League affiliate of the Mavericks. And now the Dallas Pulse. Gomez couldn't get that one saved. And that wraps up set number 1. Goes to the Dallas Pulse. They got the big lead midway through, and they took it in cruise control the rest of the way. Set number 2 on the other side of this timeout. It's 1-0 Dallas. You've got Major League Volleyball on 96.1 The Game and on YouTube.
With more than 100,000 trips and 2 million happy passengers,
Van Andel Arena is the site, and it's time once again for Grand Rapids Rise Volleyball.
Dallas, a city pulsing with electricity, alive with vibrant nightlife, bold art, and flavors from every corner of the world. And now, home to the unstoppable force of women's Major League Volleyball. Inspired by the heartbeat of the city and the tempo of the game, Dallas welcomes its newest powerhouse to the stage, the Dallas Pulse.
Hey Orlando, the 2026 Advent Health MLV All-Star Match is coming Saturday, March 28th. The biggest stars in Major League Volleyball meet in Orlando to battle it out at Addition Financial Arena. Go to provolleyball.com to get your tickets today.
This is what happens when the best players in the world share one court. Blink and you'll miss it. The biggest names, the fiercest competitors, because this is the major leagues. Powers on the outside, walls in the middle, and the best defense in pro volleyball. It only happens once a year, so when the whistle blows, don't blink. The 2026 Advent Health Major League Volleyball All-Star Match. Saturday, March 28th, live on CBS.
Every match is a new opportunity. Every win brings you one step closer to becoming a champion. This is Major League Volleyball, where the sport's top stars take the court to compete for greatness. Keep watching.
Well, back here in Grand Rapids, so far the Dallas Pulse have found all kinds of success in set number one. We've sort of seen Dallas have success all year. Welcome back. We're inside Van Andel Arena. She's Katie Olson. I'm Dan Hasty, and KO. Dallas is doing what Dallas has been doing to just about everybody in MLV this year.
I mean, we knew that they were outside heavy. I don't know if we knew that they were this pin heavy. Out of the 17 total kills that they have, 10 of them are on that outside pin. The Rise need to figure out a way to slow down those outsides.
You know, it felt like defensively Grand Rapids was having a lot of success covering the court, but Dallas figured something out halfway through. What did they figure out?
They have a secret weapon, and her name is Kaylee Cox. She was unbelievable on that opposite. She, right now, has the other 7 kills that they're getting up to 17. So really being able to go pin to pin with our middle blocker and slow down, get more touches, and find a way to score some points.
Any numbers specifically stand out to you in that first set?
I really just think the hitting percentage, because right now they're pretty equivalent on the digging, the blocking, the serving, but right now Grand Rapids needs to find a way to find a killer.
Set number 2 is underway. And a point for Candela Alonso Correa. She came in at the very end of that first set, and she's earned a chance to start set number 2. She has done some nice things in the opportunities she's had.
The last match that she had, she came out and had 15 kills, which was the career high for her.
So we'll see if Kathy George decides to ride her a little bit more here in set number 2 as they get 2 quick points. That match is the largest lead that Grand Rapids has had at any point. It's one thing that Dallas has been really good at this year is capitalizing on momentum. And we all know how much of a momentum-based game volleyball truly is. This one comes right back. Bump, set, Candela swings, and it goes back to Dallas. But with all those straight set victories, you look at the other side, and Grand Rapids has not been the lucky beneficiary of those straight set wins this year. They've only had 1 of them. They're so hard to come by. Not a lot of teams have very many. As Jensen makes it 3 straight for the Rise.
Jensen with the kill.
Half of the teams in Major League Volleyball either have 0 or 1 straight set wins. So Dallas has been really good in opportunities to close out. Carly Snyder nearly got it with some help from the tape, but it's a point for Dallas.
Everybody
as they get it down with a swing and a score. Sofia Maldonado Diaz.
Everybody clap your hands.
Alyssa Jensen, good play by Maldonado Diaz. Or check that, that was Valentine Anderson. But it doesn't matter, the Rise take the point, 4-1. Good start for GR in set 2. Well, these two teams have already met twice. They've actually both happened in Dallas. And right now, the Pulse have won both of those matches, both at the Comerica Center. Little tap, nice pancake play by PBR. Sets it up, and Carly Snyder puts it down. The big start continues for Grand Rapids as they look to answer back. We've got a timeout, and Dallas wants to talk it over. We'll step aside as well. 5-1, Grand Rapids off to a big start. We'll see if they can keep it going. You know what, on second thought, why don't we just keep it right here? It's only a 30-second timeout, so we'll allow you to just kind of tap into what Grand Rapids is trying to do. Obviously, they made a personnel change.
They did, and that was hitting negative, and you never want to see that from one of your front row players. So the switch to go to a different opposite was smart by Kathy George, and now they're in the positives. Candela Alonso Cortez just brings something fun to her team. Kathy was talking to me about it earlier in Serve and Pass. She said she's such a fun person and brings that kind of like lighthearted energy, but also she's tough as nails. She's super good on that opposite, and her swing is very heavy and deep.
Yeah, you know, there feels like there's two core principles of when you're in the heat of battle. It's one, stay focused, and two, have fun. I feel like they have stay focused in maybe the presence of someone like a Morgan Hentz, for example, but maybe you get the other side and you get that nice little balance as Dallas is able to answer out of the timeout with a point. Morgan Hentz is over here saying, well, I can be fun. It has certainly been a fun dynamic that Morgan has brought since joining this Rise squad. After that big trade right in the middle, Berkeley Oblad. Set your middles, they'll have to pay off. 6-2 Rise.
I'm not sure you could draw that play up better. That was absolutely a perfect set and perfect swing by Oblad.
It's one of the things that gets lost in moments like that, just how much of a quality set you get. And Cam Turner has, you know, much like Candela Alonso Cortez, her impact since she's coming into the starting lineup has been big. That one got rejected by the tape. Maldonado Diaz had to send back. Point goes to Grand Rapids. To see the front line of that Rise squad. They're actually kind of without a few of its big pieces, as Cortez actually took that one, I think, off the side of the face or maybe the shoulder. But Leah Meyer is out. By the way, speaking of Leah Meyer, we're going to be chatting with her coming up at the end of the second set. So if you're watching along on YouTube, we'll be planning on chatting with one of these players who have had a big impact that was unfortunately a season cut short due to injury. Fight at the net. Alonso Cortez goes down for it. Interesting play by Turner that time. Don't often see setters attack a back corner. And Dallas is able to clean it up for the point. Now the Pulse are starting to get on a little run. Serve over from Lamebang Guzkirk. Cortez just kind of stuck her foot out to try and kick at it. I think they frown on that in volleyball. Make it a one-point set as Dallas looks for a few more. They've got 3 in a row. Hentz did not get it in a good spot, but somehow they kept it alive. That's a good play for Paige Briggs-Romine. Got it in a good spot. Couple of diving plays. Kaylee Cox and Valentine Anderson. Rise will have to reset. And a block. Dallas knocks it down thanks to Mimi Collier. And if that little rally doesn't show you what Dallas has done well this year, which is everything, I don't know what will. Almost went out of bounds on the serve that time. Paige Briggs-Romine swings and attacks. That one a little bit too strong. And after that 6-1 Grand Rapids start, Dallas has outscored the Rise 7-1. And that has turned quickly on Kathy George's team. Into the net goes the serve, and we're even at 8. They actually got the first set to about this stage. It was 11-10 at one point. They had even tied it up at 11. But that was when Dallas really put the gas pedal down to the floor and sped away. And then we'll see if Grand Rapids can find a way to answer back. And the Rapids' first game back after the All-Stars have been announced in Major League Volleyball as Dallas gets the point in the lead. 6 All-Stars between these two teams. 4 on the Dallas side. Valentine Anderson, Maldonado Diaz, Van Buskirk, and Mimi Collier. Meanwhile, Grand Rapids has 2 of them. Paige Briggs-Romine, who's gotten better with every passing season here in MLV. And Morgan Hentz, who is about as safe a bet as you'll find. A little pancake that time from Hentz. Kylie Murr doing a nice job keeping it going, and that leads to a Dallas point. Boy, Dallas has this ability to just turn it on.
Kaylee Cox is so good at reading her blockers' hands and really tooling them going off of that outside hand of Carly Snyder.
Cam Turner with a setter dump gets the point. We actually talked specifically about that type of play and just what needs to go into it. We were talking about your college career and the setter dump. That was one of your favorites.
Oh, I love a good setter dump, especially when your back row really catches them off guard.
Makes it back to a 1-point deficit for Grand Rapids. Good play by Briggs-Romine. Didn't put it right where they wanted to, so another chance, and Jensen keeps it alive. Alonzo Corseas cashes in. Good little rally there for the Rise. They've got 2 straight.
And Taylor with the kill. Cam Turner serve.
Candela Alonzo Corseas. Got to know her a little bit over the course of this nice run that Grand Rapids has found themselves on in recent matches. They've won 3 of their last 5. And given the way the season started for Grand Rapids, 3 in a row for GR. Carly Snyder gets the point, makes it 11-10. You know, 3 out of 5 is pretty good when you started 2-7. And it also tracks with the big trade that Grand Rapids made when they picked up Morgan Hentz. Looks like Dallas was in the net. Nope, over the line again. I've seen that called a couple of times tonight.
It's so hard because as a setter, you're trying to push the ball as far as possible for that back row attacker.
That's 4 in a row for Grand Rapids. And that streak stops here. Point for Dallas. It's just out of the reach of a lunging Paige Briggs-Romine. Sometimes you work your way into an opportunity. Sometimes the opportunity finds you. And I think about the middle blockers, for example. There's no Ramat Al-Hassan, although she was having some fun at practice today. I think they're thinking she's closer to returning. But they're also without Liam Meyer, so they're without a few of the pieces that have really helped them along the way. There's a point for Grand Rapids, makes it 13-11. That injury bug has bit Grand Rapids a little bit more so than a lot of other teams in Major League Volleyball this year. Point for Dallas. They got it with Maldonado Diaz, and it's back to a 1-point Rise lead. But Alonzo Corseas was a 2nd-round pick. It's one of the things that Grand Rapids has actually done pretty well is make the most of some of their later round picks in the last few MLV drafts. Dallas is able to sneak that one inside the line to even us up at 13. Their first rounder was Alexis Shelton. And then it was Alonzo Corseas in round 2 after her 4 seasons at Indiana University. You get the feeling she was probably watching the college football championship game. As were a few other people. Point for Dallas. They've got 3 in a row. But how about the runs in this match so far? Back and forth, we've just seen really big surges depending on the side. Rise would love to find a way to even this thing up at 1 set apiece. Paige Briggs-Romine evens this up at 14.
I will credit these long runs to service pressure, getting behind that service line and really hitting your spots that you want to serve and putting pace on that ball is key to being back there.
Jensen has an ace here in the first set. Dallas is able to take the point back with Maldonado Diaz back to a 1-point Pulse lead.
Such a deep, deep shot there.
There's Kaylee Cox. Turner for PBR. Opposite side, swing and score. Boy, it looked like she was telegraphing to the opposite corner and somehow shot it to the other side. That was an all-star play right there from Paige Briggs-Romine. The eyes feel like it tells you so much about where a ball is intended to go. And I think that's what makes it even more impressive when you can do something opposite. I think we see it in football with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes who will look one way and throw another. But now you see what the equivalent looks like on a volleyball floor. Nice play, kept it alive, and the Rise still with a chance to get the lead. It was a big play by Carly Snyder. Double tap, and a point goes to the Pulse. 1-point lead for Dallas. They've got a 16-15 advantage.
Group of the night.
And so far, at least this second set, we've noticed it's now pushed out a little bit more, and now we're seeing it to be a little bit more competitive.
All right, fans. We know yesterday was
You are seeing more digs on the Rise side and winning those longer rallies, where in that first set, the longer rallies seem to always go to the Dallas Pulse. So it's nice to really get a couple of those.
Now, if you're going to stick with Dallas, you've got to play some defense. So have they done anything to slow down the really talented outsides on the Dallas side, like Maldonado Diaz or Collier?
I would say a little bit, as much as you can, because they are so successful. You know that they're going to get their kills. Now it's about what you can do to avoid that. I think running your middles a little bit more, because the passes are in system, and really making Dallas Pulse's middles run pin to pin, trying to create those seams in the block.
Other side, we look and we see what Grand Rapids has done. It's been a more steady and consistent start here in the second set, but right now I think if you're Kathy George, you might be telling your team something along the lines of what you can do to maybe stop those big runs that we've seen back and forth, especially after the big lead they got.
Serve receive, really siding out. It's the first ball kill is what they try to teach. So when someone is serving, you want to immediately side out, get the point back on your side. So being able to do that right now, you're seeing both sides are going on multiple point runs. So you really want to limit those to 1, if not 2 points, instead of the 5 or 6 that they're going to right now.
We'll see if Paige Briggs-Romine and her team can get things back on track. This is still anybody's set here in the second, and obviously with the way Dallas has played this year, if you get behind in a hole of 2-0, you're going to be in a whole heap of trouble based on what they've done. Second best record in the MLV this year at 12-5. And that receive ended up a little bit too strong, made it easy for Lane Van Buskirk. Paul sit at 12-5, the Rise at 6-10. But what's interesting about that is that they only sit 3.5 games back of the, not only the 4th and final playoff spot, but also of the 3rd. You've got Indy and Dallas who have sort of run away with things this year. But then once you get past those two teams, Omaha and Orlando are in those next 2 playoff spots, but they're just simply sitting at 500. Got to make you think that a lot of other teams still think that they've got just as good a chance as anybody. There's a point for Paige Briggs-Romine, makes it back to a 2-point set.
Yeah, I don't quite think we have that magic number that you have to get to make it into the Final Four.
Well, Indy might have it, Dallas might have it, but nobody after those two. And that's the beautiful thing about getting into the postseason. And we saw this back in 2024 as Dallas takes that point, goes up by 3 here as we get down the home stretch of set number 2. You know, Grand Rapids was the team that got into one of the last spots. They got into the 4th and final playoff spot back in the league's first season. They went to the championship because they beat the #1 seeded Atlanta Vibe. There's a Cam Turner point. Keeping him off guard. Cameron Turner back to a 2-point set.
You know, so smart going after Savage, standing there in the middle at 6'7", just going right off of her hands.
How tall is she again?
6'7".
Very good. Other side, Collier bashes that one down. 20-17, Dallas. They've just had some answers later in these sets. We saw it a little bit earlier in the first set, but now if Dallas scores here, they're going to be well in the driver's seat. Big point here for Grand Rapids to get. Turner able to do exactly that. Boy, Cam Turner's getting involved a whole lot from that middle.
So smart. As she's running to the outside, she sees that she beats Savage there and is able to throw that down with her left arm.
Turner gets to serve after her point. Can Paige Briggs-Romine get there? They can. Wow, that was close, but into the net goes Dallas. Wow. Grand Rapids had to cover some space here inside Van Andel, and they come away with a big point.
Looks like Collier is confused on this one, talking to the ref a little bit, trying to see if they're going to challenge it. You see Shannon Windsor coming up and talking to that up official.
And what are they trying to look at for a challenge? Whether they were in the net or whether the ball that Carly Snyder hit got inside the pin?
I believe right now they're challenging that she was in the net because that's what they're calling. And it seemed like Collier didn't think she was.
Well, they even had the symbol for challenge that Shannon Windsor was showing. That's going to be another point. 3 in a row for the Rise. We've got a tie game. We're all even at 20. That'll bring us to another 30-second timeout. So we may as well keep it right here with everything all evened up. Those runs continue. Back and forth, the pendulum swings. And so now it becomes a first to 5 points here in set number 2. Good for Grand Rapids, though. They were kind of on the brink there, being down by 3. And they found their way back with some hard work.
The defense, and you can see the bodies are running all over the court, and they're communicating and able to win those long points right now and taking advantage of Candela in the front row, blocking Collier. That's a way bigger block than Turner was up there.
You know, it's really got to be, you have to sort of tip your cap to what the Dallas Pulse have done in terms of roster construction. What a team they put together in year 1.
It's pretty insane to build a team that has not played together at all, come out and be second in a very competitive league. That all is to Shannon Windsor. Credit to her.
Now it'll be on the Rise to see if they can get their 4th straight point. I don't know how Kylie Murr kept that one alive. But another chance for Grand Rapids. Snyder didn't get it in the great spot. Now a chance for the Pulse. Right back from Carly Snyder. Long rally building for a very important point. Who will get the lead here late in set number 2? Turner lays out, keeps it going. Snyder swings. Murr keeps it alive for Dallas. Good play by Jensen to recover. Alonzo Corset has tried to go into the middle. Nothing there. Long rally here. It's a block. Alyssa Jensen gives the Rise the lead in the second set. That was the point that would never end.
And you watch this movement. Maldonado Diaz comes from middle back, goes into right back, and Jensen holds her spot, finds her, and is able to put up that solid block. Great work by Jensen.
I feel like everybody needs a breather after that rally. Cam Turner to serve again. She's been on that service line, and they're finally able to run her off with the point. So Dallas makes it 21-21. And after all that work to not get a point, that's a big point for Dallas to get because they got it quickly. Mimi Collier to serve. Turner for Jensen, kept alive. Good play by Briggs Romine. She does a little bit of everything. There's a point. Carly Snyder got that one done quickly. The leads for Grand Rapids have been few and far between. The only time they've had a significant lead of any length was early in this second set. They got off to a 6-1 start. But that's when Dallas started to stabilize, and that's when they went on their big run. Can Carly Snyder help pick up a set 2 victory? They've got a chance to get a 2-point lead here. Briggs Romine got it blocked. Kaylee Cox. And we're all even at 22. Boy, what a massive front line. You're dealing with Kaylee Cox at 6'3". You've got Tristan Savage at 6'7". It is not easy if you're on the outside against the Dallas Balls. Good receive there from Hentz. They'll have Corseas take a whack at it. To no avail. Fight at the net, and it goes right back to Dallas. Ooh, they put it in the middle, and Lane Van Buskirk puts it down. But what do we have here, Katie? I think you might think that Grand Rapids might end up with this point after all.
So they got the point. They called a lift on Van Buskirk. So if you hold on to that ball just a little bit too long on that tip, it will be called for a lift. So there's a little bit of a difference between a power tip and a slam dunk.
You're probably sitting there at home saying, you know, that didn't look quite right. Well, that's the reason why, and Grand Rapids gets a big point. You see if they can stack another one on it and get that big lead. Good play by Camila Gomez. Briggs Romine swings. Kept alive from distance, and it comes right back. Dallas and Grand Rapids fighting for a big point, and they got it. Berkeley Oblad and the Rise get us to set point in the second. Now, Berkeley Oblad has not had a huge chance to get an opportunity in front of her home fans. So could it be that play that propels the Rise to a set 2 win against one of the best teams in the MLV? Not yet. There's a point on the Dallas side. Maldonado Diaz scores. It has been these points that have escaped the Grand Rapids Rise more times than they would like over the course of the season. Jensen and Gomez come out for Grand Rapids.
And now you're seeing Kelsey Payne come in on the right side instead of Valentine Anderson. So they're going without a setter to put up a bigger block.
My goodness. It's a bold play from a team that's had a lot of bold decisions pay off. Candela swings, and it is swatted. We're all even at 24, and now it becomes the first to a 2-point lead. And this is where Dallas really has shined, these close and late points in sets. Oblad can't get it down, another block. Timeout, Grand Rapids. And if you're seeing Dallas, I know there's a lot of people here in Grand Rapids seeing Dallas for the first time. This is sort of a quick study on how they got to a 12-5 record.
And all thanks to Shannon Windsor. She has been part of national team after national team. And you can see how good of coach she is by putting together this team who has not been in the league at all. And they're coming out and being 12-5. So impressive.
It sort of makes sense that Shannon Windsor was Team Canada's coach. She was able to guide Canada's national team through multiple Olympic cycles. She's been recognized for her ability to help develop and build winning teams. Canada actually climbed from number 18 to a program best world number 8 and delivered its best ever VNL finish in 2024 and produced a big performance at the World Championships back in 2022. Now it's set point on the Dallas side. The Rise need this point to stay alive. PBR's chance handled by Murr. A chance to swing for the set. Kept alive, right back to Dallas. They'll tee it up, try to take one big swing, And it's out of bounds. It rode the top of the tape, and it couldn't find its way down. We will go past 25 and then some. Alonso Corseas gets a turn at the service line. Maldonado Diaz got it blocked. That's Oblad. A little help from Turner. And they will get back on their feet here in Grand Rapids. Set point for the second time. Boy, to go from having set point, not capitalizing on it, to losing it, and then getting it back, this would be a huge pick-me-up. But Lane Van Buskirk has other ideas. Puts it down, and we're even at 26. Well, the good news is that Grand Rapids and the Rise fans are getting stretched out really nicely here in the second. Turner for PBR, popped a mile high. They look for Collier. Taps, Corseas goes down. They want PBR, and they've got her. And now for Kathy George's team, we'll see if the third time's a charm. The Rise looking for a big set victory against one of the best teams in the league. Valentine Anderson wants Collier. She scores. Round and round we go here in set two. 27 all. Caroline Muth comes out for Dallas. Now it's Van Buskirk's turn. Who will get it to set point? Turner fights at the net, kept alive, great play. Snyder swings, and back it goes to Dallas. Now they've got a chance to get the lead, and it is out of bounds. Little stand-up, sit-down move here in set number two.
We love the flashing lights, and now we have Allison Mayfield coming in as a serving sub.
Mayfield, one of those players who played with a lot of these Pulse athletes when their time in Vegas overlapped. Members of the Thrill. Other side, swing and a score for Dallas. Point goes to the Pulse. That's 4 different tries for the Grand Rapids Rise, unable to close out. It's got to be so wildly frustrating on that GR side.
And now the Pulse is going back to their first rotation with Valentine Anderson back to serve, where they have 3 front row attackers.
Turner for Snyder. What a play there for Valentine Anderson. They'll try Collier. Turner wants Corseas. Not there. Out of system are the Rise. Now Dallas has a chance to get the lead, and it's out of bounds. And now for a 5th time. Let's try it again, says Grand Rapids. Cam Turner was on the line that helped Grand Rapids dig out of a 3-point hole late in this second set. Now she has a chance to win it for him. Collier swings. It is on the line. Are they saying there was a block touch on Grand Rapids?
I think they're saying that that ball was inbounds.
Wow. Boy, Dallas has been off the ropes 5 times. Turner wants Corseas. Back it comes. Murr looking for Maldonado Diaz, and Grand Rapids is there in the back row. Snyder kept alive. Jensen's attack handled by the Pulse. Now they've got a chance to get the lead, and it's a point for the Pulse. Grand Rapids was in the net. And if Grand Rapids is unable to win this second set, this would be a real gut punch for a team that had 5 different chances to close it out in this set. Turner for Snyder, got it blocked, and the Dallas Pulse somehow, some way escape 5 set points to take set number 2. So that's how things look. It's 2-0 in favor of the Pulse. We'll take a timeout when we come back. We're planning on talking with Leah Meyer, who got off to a great start this season as a member of the Grand Rapids Rise. It all continues as our coverage rolls on. We're at intermission here at Van Andel Arena. It's 2-0 Dallas right here on 96.1 The Game and on YouTube.
Hey Orlando, the 2026 Advent Health MLV All-Star Match is coming Saturday, March 28th. The biggest stars in Major League Volleyball meet in Orlando to battle it out at Edition Financial Arena. Go to provolleyball.com to get your tickets today.
Grand Rapids Rise in volleyball.
Dallas, a city pulsing with electricity, alive with vibrant nightlife, bold art, and flavors from every corner of the world. And now, home to the unstoppable force of women's Major League Volleyball. Inspired by the heartbeat of the city and the tempo of the game, Dallas welcomes its newest powerhouse to the stage, the Dallas Pulse.
The 2026 Advent Health MLV All-Star Match is coming Saturday, March 28th. The biggest stars in Major League Volleyball meet in Orlando to battle it out at Edition Financial Arena, live on CBS.
This is what happens when the best players in the world share one court. Blink and you'll miss it. The biggest names, the fiercest competitors, because this is the major leagues. Powers on the outside, walls in the middle, and the best defense in pro volleyball. It only happens once a year, so when the whistle blows, don't blink. The 2026 Advent Health Major League Volleyball All-Star Match. Saturday, March 28th, live on CBS.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we have a visitor. Leah Meyer is here. It's intermission right now, Grand Rapids and Dallas. But Leah is one of those players that I think we wish we could see a little bit more here tonight. I'm sure you feel the same way. But at least that means we get to have you. So welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right. So tell me a little bit about the experience that Grand Rapids has been in this season for the Rise. I know it hasn't gone exactly the way you thought because of the ACL injury. But just in terms of the group, what are you enjoying about this one?
I think we really do have such a special group, and that's something that I've been telling everyone when they ask me, you know, kind of a similar question that you just did. Everyone just comes in to the gym every day ready to work hard and work for one another, and I think, like you said, the beginning of the season was a little bit tougher for us, but, you know, me having a little bit of a coaching background and playing for so long, it's just something that you look at in terms of having an ability to grow, and this group growing together, I think, has been really beneficial for us, so it's been super cool to be around this group and have that opportunity.
I would imagine that your coaching experience kind of plays into the situation that you're in now, kind of helps pay off, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think coaching is so valuable, especially when you're continuing to play. Just seeing the game from a different perspective is just something that's a great opportunity, and I'm happy I've had the chance to do that, but now I'm kind of channeling that side of things a little bit more. So obviously I can't help on the court, but just being able to help in any way that I can is something that I like to do. So
awesome. And you have played overseas, most recently in Paris. How does that compare to now playing in the U.S. again? What's that kind of like?
You know, it's crazy to be able to play in front of your friends and family, and just, you know, obviously since I was a little girl, I think a lot of young volleyball players always have the dream of being able to play professionally here in the U.S., and now that we have that opportunity, it's honestly incredible, and sometimes I have to pinch myself, but it's been amazing just to be here and be in this atmosphere. I mean, the fans here are incredible, and all of the other, you know, places around the league are the same, so it's been awesome.
It's been a lot of fun to watch you throughout the course of this season. We hope that you get back to 100% sooner than later, just so we all know. How's everything going with the recovery?
It's good. It's good. We got a long road ahead of us, but I'm excited. I have a ton of support here, and you know my people back home and all over the world, honestly, from everywhere that I played. So it's been I'm feeling very supported and ready to take on this this journey here.
I can tell you she wanted to ditch the crutches, but she hasn't. She hasn't.
They won't let me.
In case any doctors are watching, you're fine. So, Leah, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate the impacts that you have on and off the floor. Thank you very much for spending some time.
That means a lot. Thank you.
That's Leah Meyer. We're at intermission. We've got more to come here from Grand Rapids on the other side of this timeout, right here on Rise Radio and on YouTube.
When you were a little girl growing up in Austin, Texas, did you ever imagine one day I'm going to be in the Kansas Hall of Fame and playing on the Dallas Pulse during their first inaugural season, just hours away from your family?
I didn't even really know that volleyball was an option for me until like late into high school as I started getting recruited. Yeah. So yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not to any of that, no.
Every match is a new opportunity. For us, this is everything. The hours no one sees, the pressure, the belief it takes to keep going. Every serve carries expectation. Every rally demands heart. Every win brings us one step closer to becoming champions. This is Major League Volleyball, where the sport's top stars compete for greatness. This is our game, our league. Keep watching. It's not just a sport, it's a calling. At Spalding, we've spent years crafting high-quality equipment that honors that passion. As the official net system supplier to Major League Volleyball, we're proud to support the game at its highest level, where precision, durability, and performance matter most. Because when you give your all, you deserve equipment that does too. Spalding Volleyball, trusted by generations, built for champions.
Well, it is now past intermission. We are just about getting ready for another opportunity to see if the Grand Rapids Rise can get back on track. They looked like they had set number 2-1, not once, not twice, not 3 or 4 times, but 5 different set points, but could not capitalize. Welcome back, getting ready for set number 3. That's Katie Olson. I'm Dan Hasty, and KO. What is it about that big point that just seems to have evaded Grand Rapids there in the second set?
They did a great job of slowing down the pins at the beginning of that second set through most of the end of the second set until those last couple of points. You saw on the game point, they had 5 different times where they could have got that match point. And who got the kill? Mimi Collier or Modelo Diaz on the outside or in the back row. So their hitting percentage all of a sudden for the last 10 points of that match went back up to over 300, which is not something that you want to have happen as the Rise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's safe to say that when your best players are the ones that you get to lean on and they have the kind of numbers that Maldonado Diaz has or Collier has, you just keep feeding them and you'll figure out a way to win the set eventually.
And they were able, the Rise did have them there for a second. They were putting up more blocks, more block touches, getting them a little more frustrated. You saw a couple line shots not quite get inside the court, and that's where, as the Rise, you really need to take advantage of those points where they just weren't able to really execute on those mistakes.
Also wanted to say a big thank you to Leah Meyer for joining us on the YouTube side, and also to Cam Turner, who was gracious enough to join us on the radio side. So hope you enjoyed the conversation with a couple of the very big contributors on this Grand Rapids Rise side. So if you're Grand Rapids, it kind of felt like they had what they needed to win that second set. Is there anything different that they should do going into this third set to try to avoid getting swept?
Right now, the hitting percentage is rather low, which is something the Rise have struggled with in the past. So I do think that putting on a little more service pressure, maybe targeting one of the outsides, making them play a lot of balls, trying to like wear them out a little bit is probably a good option. And then, you know, if you get a good pass, you need to feed those middles. Right now, it's just really pin heavy on both sides.
It's one of the things we've noticed about Grand Rapids, trying to really make that blocking identity. Katie, you were talking about that earlier. Kathy George kind of being very intentional about having that ability come from the middle, and we saw it last year with Ali Bastianelli, who was one of the great middle blockers in all of Major League Volleyball. And this season it was Ramat Al-Hassan, but they've been without her. And they really haven't had, as we get underway in set number 2, all of their pieces on the floor at the same time, especially if you consider Al-Hassan into that equation. Good play by Hentz, keeps it alive. I think that would be a thing that Kathy George would probably say could be a difference maker here down the stretch. And I think that they're closer to getting Al-Hassan back. She's finally out of the walking boot. We get a point for Grand Rapids to start us off. Wait, doesn't it feel like the rallies have just been longer tonight between these two teams?
I felt like you were talking for a hot minute for that first point. It's just the defense back there on both sides.
Yeah, we were about to start reading names out of the phone books for a minute. Looks like this point won't be as fast. Or at least in this case, as long. We're all tied at 1. Grand Rapids has decided to go with Candela Alonso Corseas here for set number 3. Well, you can't argue with the fact that it was a much closer second set than it was a first. Grand Rapids was in the net, 2-1 in favor of the Pulse. Well, Grand Rapids is coming back from a road trip in which they took down Atlanta, and they also played against Indy. So as their season has continued, it has just been continuing against some of these really tough teams. And as Grand Rapids takes a point that time with a big block. But just listen to some of the teams that they've played over their last 5 matches. Orlando, you've got a defending champ. Omaha, you've got the champion before that. Both of those teams are in playoff position as we sit here today. Then you go to Indy, you have to play the Ignite. They lost there. Then they go to Atlanta, and now they're here against Dallas. In a way, it's kind of amazing that they've won 3 of their last 4 matches. Good play by Hentz to keep it going. Briggs Romine got a little bit more on that than I think they expected. Leads to a block thanks to Alyssa Jensen, and it's 3-2 Grand Rapids.
Right there, those are the points that the Rise have to take advantage of. The Dallas Pulse were out of system, so they were able to really set their block on the Rise side and take advantage of that.
Pulse won the first 2 matches of this 4-game series in Dallas. They took a 3-1 victory on February the 8th and a 3-0 sweep on February the 22nd. The Rise captured the first set on February 8th before dropping the next 6 sets. So then you add in today, that's 8 sets in a row that have been won by the Pulse. Alonso Corseas trying to have a big impact here in set number 3. A couple of diving plays to give this one a chance. Valentine Anderson. They gave it to Maldonado Diaz. It got blocked. That's Alonso Corseas and Alyssa Jensen. And it feels like that's the way. If you're going to beat Dallas, that's how you got to do it. Really run your middles. Try to get points from those. Probably get even better defense from them. Tap in the middle. How did Hentz get to that ball? Another swing. Good play for Snyder to keep it going. A little change-up shot. PBR put it in a shot glass, and it's 5-2. tried with Snyder, and that time it was a little bit too strong. Makes it 5-3 in favor of Grand Rapids. Well, that's been one thing that the Rise have had, especially going back to that second set. They've had leads, they've just not been able to maintain or sustain. Briggs Romine gets the point that time, and it's now a double-up lead for Grand Rapids. Make it 6-3. Pulse are also riding a 4-match win streak, including 3 consecutive sweeps. So now you go back to the Pulse, and that's 11 straight set victories. You're not only running into a hot team, as that one hits the line for the Pulse, Point Dallas, but you're also running into one of the best teams in the league who might be the hottest team in the league.
Everybody clap your hands.
Maldonado Diaz to serve. No, one thing we also haven't had is a lot of mistakes from the service line. Both sides have been actually pretty good about that, as Dallas gets another point to make it a 1-point Rise lead. Just 3 service errors on the Dallas side, just 3 on the Rise end. Sitting in set number 3, that feels like an accomplishment. You kind of get the sense early if it's going to be one of those types of matches. There's a block. Dallas is able to put it down thanks to Lane Van Buskirk. Well, she is an imposing figure in the middle. It's amazing that you can run her or Tristan Savage or both. Turner for PBR, swinging a score. Lead goes back to Grand Rapids. I'll give it to Candela. Get a look at Paige Briggs-Romine playing next to Berkeley Oblad. They have not had a lot of experience with one another throughout the course of the season, but it actually looks pretty good in that game at Atlanta when they picked up their 3-1 victory. Turner for Snyder. There's another point. That feels like a big key for them. If they can find a way to get Snyder going, that'll give them a real shot here in the third.
Running that ball out of the middle back or the middle front, just forcing Savage to really pick a side.
This time they'll look for Maldonado Diaz, and she plants one down. This Dallas team, the newest team into Major League Volleyball, taking the court for the first time this season. And there are more teams coming. That one goes a little long. There are the service errors. First time this season is Dallas, and then confirmed for next year, Minnesota, Northern California, and Washington, D.C. How did they keep that one going? Paige Briggs-Romine off of a couple of outstanding plays, but Collier bashes one down. We're all tied at 9.
Valentine Anderson just is so good at running such a quick ball to that pin when she knows that the other team is just scrambling.
There's Collier, the #1 overall pick in the MLV draft. And that time she goes down to dig one out. Maldonado Diaz, right back it comes, and Grand Rapids will get a chance to reset. Nothing there. Dallas looks for her again. Kylie Murr lays out to keep it going. Snyder swings, she scores.
I absolutely love that swing by Snyder. You watched her go up and she completely turned her body. She knew she was going for hands out there and was able to get it off of Cox's outside hand into the crowd.
You have to have some kind of body control to do that. Cam Turner serves, and a ball comes back, and Grand Rapids take a point. Alyssa Jensen sure can. 2 in a row for the Rise. It's 11-9.
Very good job there by the Rise on capitalizing on that service error by the Pulse.
keep it going, man. Let's keep the wave going.
There have not been a lot of plays throughout the course of this match where Dallas has sort of gift-wrapped opportunities or points to Grand Rapids. And, you know, you look back at the first set, and of course, that set is what it is. But the second set, obviously, either side could have easily won that. And I'd imagine Kathy George is pretty happy with the effort she saw. And yet here we find ourselves in the third set, and only 1 point separates these two teams. Serve there from Savage. Let's see if Corseas can swing and score. She can. Dallas couldn't get the block down. It's back to a 2-point Rise edge.
Snyder serving.
Well, they put it in the middle, and Van Buskirk able to slap it down. Almost wonder if it kind of had that similar look to the play we saw earlier, where they ended up wiping the point away as we went down the stretch of the second set, but that one was different.
Just a little less of a hold on that.
Can Grand Rapids keep the lead? Or can Dallas tie us up? Not yet. There's a block. Alyssa Jensen. She's had a busy day in the middle. That is the 8th block today for Alyssa Jensen. Gonna have to start looking through the archives to see the last time we've seen that many blocks in these few sets. Another point. PBR bashes one down.
Right now, the Rise are having good luck on that outside, hitting off of the opposite hand of the pulse.
14-11 in favor of Grand Rapids. Shannon Windsor having a conversation with our first referee. That's Michelle Prater. We're gonna get a challenge on this one?
I think we're seeing a challenge. Neither side have stepped off of the court.
So for Alyssa Jensen, she's now with 8 blocks in 3 sets, and it is going to be a challenge, so they are going to take another look at it. The all-time franchise record, mid-rally net touch is what they're going to be looking for here. But Ali Bastianelli has had 2 different performances with 9 blocks apiece. And those both came last year. One here against the Indy Ignite, one last year at the Indy Ignite. So Alyssa Jensen's already in great company, and she's done it in a fraction of the time. And I guess when you're playing the outsides like Dallas has, I would imagine you're going to be busy if you're a middle blocker like Alyssa Jensen.
She's really getting the hang of Maldonado Diaz on that outside, because right now her hitting percentage has completely taken a 180. She's been blocked multiple times by Jensen, and now she's only around the 100 mark.
You know, in poker, for example, as we finally get a look at this, no net touch on Grand Rapids. That's an unsuccessful Dallas challenge. But in poker, the card game, players have tells. And I would imagine that Alyssa Jensen is probably picking up on a few tells from Dallas tonight.
That's your job as a middle blocker, to find the hitters' tendencies and figure out how they play and be able to stop that.
Collier puts one down, rattles it through. There's a point for Dallas, makes it 14-12.
Collier from the back row is so good at hitting just outside of that blocker's outside hand.
Brings it back. Maldonado Diaz's turn. Couldn't get anything underneath it. When I feel like right now, if you're Major League Volleyball, you're just hoping that somebody can beat Dallas in even a single set. They've reeled off 11 straight set victories. That is quite the run of dominance from Dallas. Ooh, Morgan Hentz lays out. Can they get it over? Yes. What a play. Hentz with a little help from Carly Snyder. Can they make the most of it? They wanted Carly. Nice play by Kylie Murr to keep it going. Another chance for Grand Rapids. and it's blocked. Collier and Van Buskirk. Big point for Dallas.
That was a hard ball for Cam Turner. She ran into Oblad there, couldn't quite get out of the way, and had no other option than to send it over.
Grand Rapids has not had a lot of big leads late in any of these sets. Their only big lead today is that one's going to go down for a point for Grand Rapids, thanks to the slide play in Berkeley. Oblad makes it a 16-13 Grand Rapids lead. But I keep thinking to the fact that Grand Rapids has not had any of those late leads grow bigger than maybe, say, 2 or 3 points. And you almost wonder if that would be the thing that could get them over the hump here in the third.
Right here, they need to take advantage and really not let up on the gas, keep serving tough, and hit your blocking positions.
Now, if Grand Rapids can find a way to win, obviously that would be something that snapped a pretty big, impressive streak for Dallas. Now, I keep going back to the second set because of just how close it was. I know that they didn't get the point that they wanted when they wanted it, but what things did they do well? Because it's not easy to push Dallas to the brink the way they did.
They got Dallas out of system. They were able to really control their pins up into that last second where Mimi Collier really just kind of went off to get those points when Dallas Pulse needed them the most. So now, I mean, they're up, or Rise are up by 3 right now. Who's the ball going to go to? Mimi Collier is in the front row, so trying to figure out where she is, spot that out really quickly, and make sure you're putting up a solid block.
I guess it just goes to show how strong those two outsides are, because late in the set, it almost feels like if you're Grand Rapids, you sort of know where Dallas is going to go with it, and yet it's still hard to stop.
Like right now, I'm not sure Valentine Anderson has set Savage or Van Buskirk in this set. I don't know if you remember a middle ball, but right now she's just going to the pin because they are having so much success. And with Valentine Anderson in the front row right now, I would expect this ball going to Collier on the pin.
16-13. Can the Rise get a 4-point lead late in set 3? They need a win to keep going, and they got the point. They tried Collier, it was a little too strong. Rise up 4. There's Paige Briggs-Romine, the newly coined All-Star, thanks to her first trip to the All-Star match. That'll be played in Orlando, coming up a little bit over a week from now. Orlando, the home of the defending champion in the Valkyries. Actually be a nationally televised match. You can watch that on CBS. Turner for Snyder. And they've kept her under wraps today. Alonso Corseas can't get to it. There's a point for Dallas, 17-15. Snyder's hitting 20%. Here's a chance right at the net. It's kept alive there by Dallas. I think Grand Rapids really trying to find something from their opposite side. There's a point for Dallas as Snyder's attack went too far. They started with Elizabeth Enna, and since they put in Alonso Corseas, she's hit a little bit better throughout the course of the last 2 sets. But again, we kind of talked about that front line for Dallas and just how difficult they are. There's a misfire from Grand Rapids. There's 3 in a row for Dallas, and we're even at 17. Makes you curious what Dallas has been able to do to be so tough on the opposite, no matter who it's been for Grand Rapids tonight. Into the net, point Grand Rapids takes the lead once again. There's Kathy George, one of the great coaches in all of volleyball. Long time at Michigan State, Western Michigan. So this is sort of a homecoming for her of sorts. There's a point for Grand Rapids. Looks like we'll get a timeout as well. 19-17, Grand Rapids has themselves a 2-point lead. just looking over the course of the numbers, Grand Rapids is hitting 14% in this contest. On the other side, what do we have Dallas at? Is that at 19% as well?
Yeah, they've really slowed down the pulse in this third set.
That's surprising. You would expect to be that low, but I guess they're making the most of the opportunities that they're getting. And on top of that, I will say, we have had a lot of long rallies for points tonight. That probably has something more to do with it.
And the service pressure from the Rise are getting the pulse out of system. So that gives the Rise more time to set up their block. And right now, they have completely stopped Maldonado Diaz on that outside pin. So really now their focus goes from 3 to now 2 pins.
And to your point, Maldonado Diaz had a really strong start here tonight. And I guess it's almost for opponents, you just have to sort of pick what side you want to take out and then have to deal with the other one and the assault that they can bring. Great diving play that time for Valentine Anderson. Collier puts it in the middle. What a play. That was not a ball that she got in a great spot. Didn't matter. Dallas down by 1. Well, you're seeing everything that made Mimi Collier the #1 overall pick in the MLV draft. This time she's a little wide of the target on the serve. Cam Turner. Tried to go across court and couldn't do it. How about 3 points for Grand Rapids? They've got a nice little lead here as we go down the home stretch of set number 2. Remember, in set number 3, back in set 2, Grand Rapids was down around this juncture by the score of 20-17. Looks like we'll get a substitution for Dallas.
Malaya Jones is coming in, and she is also a rookie from SMU.
Right place, right time for Maldonado Diaz, who ends up taking advantage with a point. Well, that one just caught a hand on the attack from the far side, and it sort of just found its way right to Maldonado Diaz. It was so easy, she was able to just put it in the back corner. Hence Turner, a chance it's dug out. Look at Valentine Anderson, free ball back. And Grand Rapids get themselves a 3-point lead. They can, thanks to Alyssa Jensen. We're talking about the blocks. Well, there's certainly some on the Dallas side. Maldonado Diaz actually has 5 tonight. Collier with 4. Jensen sitting on 8. Snyder hit that one a mile high. Couldn't get it over. Point Grand Rapids. That's their largest late lead here tonight. They want to talk about it. So Dallas will take a timeout. It's a 30-second timeout. So now as we look, Grand Rapids is oh so close to the finish line, but we've noticed throughout the course of the season that getting that final point has been tough to come by. What have they done well here in set 3 that can get them there?
They've served tough. They're getting the pulse out of system where they're forcing balls that are being set not by Valentine Anderson. So it's a higher ball to the pin, which gives the Rise a little bit longer time to set up, and then they're executing on that setup.
You mentioned Malaya Jones coming in. What are they looking to get from her?
Oh my gosh, she was absolutely fantastic at SMU this last year. She has a heavy arm and a huge block up there. She is able to really elevate on that opposite side.
She was the 9th overall pick. It's the first one in round number 2. It's the Mountain West Player of the Year back in 2024. This time, Maldonado Diaz perks up, she scores, and it's back to a 3-point Rise lead. Oh, this would be a nice little gut check win if Grand Rapids could do that, considering the set 2 that they had where they couldn't convert.
And right now we have Kaylee Cox coming back in and Kelsey Payne, so they are going without a setter for a bigger block in that front row.
They've done that to a lot of success. Corseas has to just get it over quickly. Good play, Turner lays out for it, PBR swings. And Cox is there. You can just tell how much bigger and tougher they become when they decide to sell out. And this time, Paige Briggs-Romine puts it down anyway. That's a hard-fought point. The lights dim, it's set point here in the third for the Grand Rapids Rise. Camila Gomez comes back in for Grand Rapids. Alyssa Jensen gets a well-deserved rest. If Grand Rapids gets this point, we play on. Cross-court shot, perfect angle, and Van Buskirk keeps Dallas's hopes alive. Morgan Hentz back in, saying one more. Maldonado Diaz to serve for Dallas. Grand Rapids needs only one more to break an 11-set winning streak for the Dallas Pulse. Alonso Corseas can't get it down. Well, if you're Grand Rapids, you don't want it getting much closer than it is right now. Dallas has been outstanding in closing the gap when their backs have been against the wall. Briggs-Romine swings, she misfires. It has been that kind of night for the Grand Rapids Rise. Now, if Dallas scores, we play to the best of the next 2 points. If Grand Rapids scores, we're going to the fourth. Serve is long. Grand Rapids will take it however Dallas wants to give it to them. The Rise are a winner in set 3. Off to the fourth we go in Grand Rapids. 2-point lead for the Rise turns into a third set victory. Off to the fourth after this timeout on Rise Radio and on YouTube.
And it's time once again for Grand Rapids Rise Volleyball.
Dallas, a city pulsing with electricity. Alive with vibrant nightlife, bold art, and flavors from every corner of the world. And now, home to the unstoppable force of women's Major League Volleyball. Inspired by the heartbeat of the city and the tempo of the game, Dallas welcomes its newest powerhouse to the stage, the Dallas Pulse.
Hey Orlando, the 2026 Advent Health MLV All-Star Match is coming Saturday, March 28th. The biggest stars in Major League Volleyball meet in Orlando to battle it out at Edition Financial Arena. Go to provolleyball.com to get your tickets today.
This is what happens when the best players in the world share one court. Blink and you'll miss it. The biggest names, the fiercest competitors, because this is the major leagues. Powers on the outside, walls in the middle, and the best defense in pro volleyball. It only happens once a year, so when the whistle blows, don't blink. The 2026 Advent Health Major League Volleyball All-Star Match. Saturday, March 28th, live on CBS.
Every match is a new opportunity. Every win brings you one step closer to becoming a champion. This is Major League Volleyball, where the sport's top stars take the court to compete for greatness. Keep watching.
Shorts, get on your feet and make some noise for your Grand Rapids Rise.
Well, back here in Grand Rapids, we're going to a fourth set. Not a lot of teams have been able to say that against the Dallas Pulse this year, as the Dallas Pulse go down to the Rise 25-23 in set number 3. She's Katie Olson, I'm Dan Hasty, and KO. You know, sometimes getting a lead puts you in a spot where if the other team makes a mistake, that's how you can take advantage. And that last point that Grand Rapids got sort of was given to them. But when you're going up against a team that is as red hot as Dallas is, you're just happy to take a set.
Yeah, and they are not making many errors. And right now, when they do make an error, the Rise are taking advantage of it. And that's why you saw the difference in set 2 and set 3 a little bit.
So Grand Rapids was able to get a big set there. Obviously keeps their hopes alive for now. They couldn't get that second set quite done when it was a final of 31-29 in set number 2. Now we sit getting ready for a third and now fourth set. As Dallas tries to win its third, Grand Rapids trying to push us to a fifth and final set. Underway in set 4. There's a point for Dallas. Well, with how many times Grand Rapids' fans got up and down in that second set, it was fun to at least see them finally watch a match close out with a set victory for Grand Rapids. You go back to what Dallas has done. And, you know, we talked about that 11-set win streak. It's actually more than that. So Alyssa Jensen gets the kill that time. Because they also beat Atlanta by a score of 3-2. So they've got at least one more set on top of the ones that they had here. And in the 3 matches leading up to it. 2-1 Dallas as they get the point from the far side. Looked like Kaylee Cox.
And boy, can she do everything. She's hitting from the outside, hitting from the opposite, serve, receiving, and even setting.
Dallas has been able to do so many things well throughout the course of the year. It's no big surprise that they have now 4 All-Stars going to the All-Star match in Orlando. Briggs Romine comes right back after the attack. Roy Turner, great job of not getting in the net. That leads to a Rise point. It's got to be so tough when you're playing in that area. You're so close to the net. But to get close and not get into the net, it's like that old board game of Operation. You just can't touch the sides no matter what you do.
And then to feed Carly Snyder in the back row perfectly. That was a great assist by Turner.
Those All-Stars for Dallas: Valentine Anderson, Sophia Maldonado Diaz, Lane Van Buskirk, and Mimi Collier, #1 overall pick in the draft. Dallas is able to pound that one down, makes it a 3-2 Pulse lead. Rise have 2 members going to the All-Star match. That's Paige Briggs Romine and Morgan Hens. You know, the last 2 years, Morgan Hens has won the MLV Libero of the Year award. And I'm curious who comes to mind as her biggest competition for that this season. There's a swing and a score. We're all even at 3.
I'm thinking Shara Venegas has a pretty good run for her money there for the Mojo. She touches every ball, and I think right now her and Hens are going back and forth for leading in digs.
We will see San Diego one last time this year. A little out of system with that ball. 4-3 Grand Rapids. They've already played San Diego 3 times. They've beaten them once, lost the last 2. The season finale will be in San Diego at the end of April. Alonzo Corseas' serve is too strong, and we're tied at 4. Grand Rapids coming into this one not quite as hot as Dallas. It's hard to be as hot as Dallas has been. The slide play for Berkeley Oblad goes down. Grand Rapids comes in winning 3 of its last 4 matches. And it is kind of wild to think that not 1 but 2 playoff spots are very much wide open and up for grabs.
It'll be interesting what part of the season we get to where we can really look at, I know you're a stat guy over here, how many wins you need to make that Final 4.
Stats are good, stories are better. The Rise enter the week 2 matches back of that final playoff spot with 12 remaining on the schedule. So all things considered, another service there. They're starting to pile up here in the 4th. Omaha and Orlando currently hold the final 2 spots. Atlanta and San Diego sit 1 match back at 7 and 9. So still a lot to be decided. And then you look at the upcoming schedule for Grand Rapids. It certainly gets easier. I don't know how it could get much tougher than the teams that they've had to go through. How about Cam Turner getting vertical from the center spot? 7-5 Rise. You rarely see an intentional attack like that.
That was a really, really bold move by Cameron Turner, and I love it.
Berkeley Oblad serves. Slide play, too strong. Point Grand Rapids. How about a 3-point Rise lead? And if this continues, you'll really start to get the feeling after a timeout's called. Dallas wants to talk about it. Is the fact that, and I think Shannon Windsor's kind of getting that feeling too, where Grand Rapids is starting to get a little momentum at this point. They almost won the 2nd set. They did win the 3rd set, and now they've got a lead here in the 4th. So maybe, just maybe, the pendulum is swinging back on the Rise's side.
Just keep building it up. In the polls right now, you're seeing them make a couple hitting errors that you have not seen them make in probably the last 5 matches.
They've won 4 in a row. These are 2 of the hotter teams overall in all of Major League Volleyball. Next match for Grand Rapids will come up just 2 days from now. They'll be on a plane quickly to head to Omaha. They're taking on the Supernovas for their next contest. And that will be at 8 p.m. You can be able to find that one on CBS Sports Network. Collier swings in. Oblad unable to handle it in the back row. Well, you don't have to go looking for the volleyball, because when they're hitting it, they find you. Lane Van Buskirk. We'll see if Alyssa Jensen can bring him a point. Not this time. Jensen's been stuck on those 8 blocks. I thought by the time we got a 4th set, that made her a pretty good chance to give her the franchise record in that category. Still a ton of time. Alonso Corseas bangs one through. Back to a 2-point Rise lead. You know, right now, Carly Snyder's been kind of the constant that has been working for Grand Rapids. But they're trying to find her another outside, another opposite, some sort of running mate. Service there at Grand Rapids. And the way that Alonso Corseas is playing, she's certainly earning that. And the numbers of these sets have reflected how much better that they have been with her on the floor tonight. That's not what they wanted. A little bit of a struggle on the serve receive that time, and we're even at 9. It's very much a domino effect in volleyball, where one thing affects another and affects another. That time it was the serve receive play that led to an easy Dallas point. This time Hentz able to make it a little bit better and goes back and gets that one out of the corner. Alonso Corseas swings and got it through the defense. And the Rise retake the lead. Now if you're Grand Rapids, you got to be excited because you've got Carly Snyder on the line. They have not had a lot of chances to get her on a run in that part of the floor. And that's why. When you're on the other side and you've got players like that, Kaylee Cox gets the point this time to even us up at 10. You can't get used to being on the service line, can you?
No, and Kylie Murr absolutely stuck that pass to allow for that to happen.
Collier serves. Corseas, they had to adjust the flight plan that time. Back it comes, and into the net goes Grand Rapids. 10-11, Dallas is back on top. We were talking about the schedule and what it is. Well, the truth of the matter is that the gauntlet for Grand Rapids is not quite over yet. And that one just looked like Valentine Anderson in the shoulder, and yet they were able to keep the play alive. But after their game at Omaha, there's another point for Dallas. Far side, it's down and it's 12-10 in favor of the Pulse. But get this, after tonight, it's Omaha, Indy, Dallas.
That's a rough schedule, and I know you were asking me about liberos earlier. I completely forgot about Elena Scott for Indy. She was the #1 voted player for the All-Star match.
We have not seen Indy here in Grand Rapids as of yet. But after those 3 matches, Omaha, Indy, Dallas. By the way, 2 of those 3 will be here in Grand Rapids, so at least there's some consolation with that. Then it goes Columbus, Omaha, Columbus, Indy, Columbus a 3rd time, Atlanta, Orlando, San Diego. So there is a chance, just based on simple records, that Grand Rapids has a friendlier end to their season than they do the middle portion.
What are the chances you play a team 3 times almost in a row at the end of your season with the Fury?
And the good news on the Grand Rapids side is that they've already beaten Columbus. That was their opening night win. So talk about a gap between the 2 times that they have seen one another. Rise are down by 2. And that attack goes too strong. It's a point for Grand Rapids, but they're quick to say that the Rise got a finger on it.
I think Kaylee Cox went up, and now she wants to challenge that play, saying Paige Briggs-Romine was in the net. So it looks like we are going to have that challenge.
Katie Olsen's got great vision. What did you see on that play?
Well, the Rise fans don't like it. They're booing, but I saw Cox come down and say that Paige Briggs-Romine hit the net while she was blocking, and she seemed pretty dang confident when she came down to go to her coach, Windsor, and say, we need to challenge that.
I'd imagine you have to trust your ears a lot in that situation, but I mean, isn't it just the faintest of sounds when you're just talking about a fingertip here and a fingertip there?
I mean, sometimes you can tell when you're in that position if you keep the ball in front of you and your eyes are able to see them touch the net. But I mean, also, as a coach, you got to see, you know, there are some players that think everything that is a touch or everything that you have a net touch. You got to trust that player, especially being so far away from the other side of the net. So we'll see here if Paige Briggs-Romine did in fact touch that net.
It's not a lot of times where a challenge could actually sway who has the lead and who doesn't, but this is one of those times, because if the point goes to Dallas, they would hold a 12-11 lead. If not, and the point goes back, then we could see it tighten up a little bit more here in Grand Rapids. This one's been fun. This has been a hotly contested match over the course of sets numbers 2, 3, and now 4. And I guess in that way, you've got to credit Grand Rapids, because at least they found a way to hang with a really good Dallas team.
Each set, they're getting a little bit better and honing in the pulse and being able to take advantage of that. So if they can just continue their momentum right now, hopefully they can take this 4th set.
Well, Shannon Windsor has been busy calling those timeouts and calling those challenges throughout the course of this one. We'll get our first look at this play, hopefully in the next moment or 2. Our first referee is Michelle Prater. Right now, Grand Rapids is simply just trying to find that momentum, and they sort of had it for the last maybe set and a half. So it's these delays that probably are the ones you worry about taking that momentum away.
It's a long time to not play and then have to go back and serve. Looks like there is a block touch.
So that is a successful challenge for Dallas, and now a 1-point lead becomes a 3-point lead. So there's a big difference right there. And Carly Snyder's having a long conversation with our official.
So when you go up and challenge, they were challenging a net touch and it came back with a block touch. So if you see anything within that replay that is significant, you can rule against that.
Usually it's pretty clear cut. Usually you get an idea, and we're finally getting our first look at the block touch. You don't get a whole lot of, you see the first fault observed net touch explanation there on the screen. Usually you don't get a whole lot of rebuttal from the other side.
No, and that was kind of a hard one to see with the big screen in the background. That's what you were seeing there, so it made it a little bit more challenging.
Had to zoom in a little bit extra, didn't they? 4-point lead for the Pulse. And they give it right back. Grand Rapids will happily take it. Well, you know, there was a time where we didn't really see many service errors on either side. It was, I think, 3 on both ends. Now we're up to 8. Here as we now sit halfway through set number 4. Kaylee Cox smashes that one through, and the lead goes back to 4 for the Pulse. Kristen Savage. They had to be excited to pick her up. A rookie out of UCLA, and picking up a force like that in the middle at 6'7". One of the biggest players in all of the league. There's a point for Grand Rapids. Oblad and Briggs-Romine able to team up. Interesting to see what they've been doing tonight, kind of running back and forth through some of their middles tonight. Alyssa Jensen's getting a brief chance on the bench. We see a little bit more Berkeley Oblad. Another point there for Grand Rapids to bring it back to 2. What are the differences between those two tonight?
Alyssa Jensen is a blocking force, and Oblad brings a little bit more offense to the court.
So we certainly haven't seen the last of Jensen. She was a Kathy George favorite during those years up in East Lansing. As that rides the line, there's a point. That brings us to a timeout. Why don't we take a timeout with them? Quick 30-second timeout here from Grand Rapids. 16-13, the Pulse up by 3 here on YouTube. They've got the air fiddle cam here in Grand Rapids. I guess they're still celebrating St. Patty's Day. I guess we are too. Welcome back, Dan and Katie with you. And KO right now, bigger lead for Dallas. They're up by 3. If Grand Rapids is going to push this to a 5th set, first of all, that would be an accomplishment against the Dallas team like this. What do they have to continue to do?
Putting service pressure and finding Mimi Collier where she is at offensively.
Paige Briggs-Romine swings and misfires, and now the lead goes to 4 for Dallas. This is about the area where you have to start getting real careful if you're on the Grand Rapids side, because this can get away from you awful quick. A needed point for Grand Rapids on this sequence if they can find one. And they got it.
Right here, these are the errors that the Rise have to capitalize and take advantage of.
If you're just joining us, back in the 2nd set after a early win. Look at that one off the tape. There's a break for Grand Rapids. Ace for Paige Briggs-Romine. An ace for the All-Star. But after a 25-17 set 1 victory, 2nd set went all the way to 31-29. Here's another mistake for Dallas. Turner for PBR, and it's kept alive. They'll have another chance to recalibrate. Hence, all the way vertical. How about Cam Turner? She plays like this a little longer, and she might be an all-star a year from now.
So you see this dig by Hentz sets up Turner perfectly, and she is able to get outside Lane Van Buskirk's arm.
You know, I would imagine that it's really easy to just watch the show that is Morgan Hentz, and that's what makes Cam Turner doing her thing even more of a surprise as Dallas takes the point and gets back to a 2-point lead. But a good surge by Grand Rapids to stop the boat from taking on the water it was. Sofia Maldonado-Diaz nearly got some help from the tape like PBR did. Right back. Snyder gets it from Turner and scores. Well, you got to give the Rise some credit. Take away that first set, and they have played with Dallas about as much as anyone has over the course of the last 2 weeks. Berkeley Oblad pops it through. Collier got it right through the arms of Paige Briggs-Romine. There's a point for the Pulse. Lane Van Buskirk. Hard to believe they have someone who's 6'3" and not even close to the tallest on her own team. Carly Snyder got tall for that point. Back to a 1-point deficit for Grand Rapids. They've got Caitlin Horde, who's 6'4". They have Carson Bacon, who's 6'3". And Snyder couldn't get enough on that to get it down. Had an opportunity. Jensen does. Alyssa Jensen scores, and we're even at 19. But the longer this match stays close late, with the way that the game has evolved, you have to think that that might favor Grand Rapids. Is that Valentine Anderson? No, that was Maldonado-Diaz. She attacks, she scores, 20-19. I didn't think we were going to see another setter attacking like Cameron Turner. There's Valentine Anderson at the service line for Dallas. Hence, unable to get it in serve receive, and Dallas takes advantage. Big point for the Pulse.
You don't see that too often from Hentz in serve receive.
This time, Hentz able to get a better piece of it. For Jensen, got it, blocked. Tristan Savage. That's 3 in a row at crunch time for the Pulse. Once again, Grand Rapids finds themselves down by 3. And given the juncture of where we're at, this is a monster point. And a serve that goes long, another Dallas miscue. And I guess when a team is playing as well as Dallas, all those miscues get even more magnified. Carly Snyder, we've yet to see her unleash that wicked serve to success. Another point for the Pulse. Kaylee Cox. And the Pulse are 1 point from match point. We'll get a substitution for Grand Rapids. Alexis Shelton, the first-round pick out of Oklahoma, comes in for Candela Alonso Corseas. Kathy George pulling out all the stops now. Hentz bumps. Paige Briggs-Romine scores. Two-point lead for Dallas. Camila Gomez comes in as a serving sub. Gomez was on the service line towards the end. She makes an outstanding diving play there, and it leads to a point for the Rise. What a job by Camila Gomez. Back to a 1-point set. Well, how she kept that one alive, we'll never know. and now it goes into the net. Well, this sport can have its momentum swings, and we just saw it in the span of about 15 seconds.
And the Pulse are bringing back in Muth for the service line right now.
That's right, Caroline Muth, former Aggie of Texas A&M, the native of San Antonio, trying to close it out for the Dallas Pulse. Turner wants PBR, she slams it through. And the Rise are 1 point from pushing this one into extras. Alexis Shelton, who I believe is serving for the first time tonight. Nice job to get that over. That's got to be a tough spot to be in. A swing, a score. Maldonado Diaz puts this one to bed, and the Dallas Pulse winning surge continues. That's 5 in a row for one of the best in MLV.
Coming out to tonight's match. Head over to section 107 as
our post-game show is on the other side of this timeout, right here on Rise Radio and on YouTube.
And on behalf of the entire Grand Rapids Rise organization, have a great evening. We hope to see you back here next Wednesday, March 25th, as the Rise will take on the Indy Ignite. Thank you all again for coming out, and have a great evening.
Club.